known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Pressman. The smiley guy is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, I bounced back, man. I bounced back. I was so down after Sunday's terrible losing 2-6 day. I came back yesterday 2-0 in NFL, both prop bets, and won my basketball again. I'm back. I'm feeling it. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing just fine, thank you, Lawrence. I'm sure the viewing audience appreciates you telling us how you did last night to open up the best sports betting show on the planet every day.
Tell them
again.
They do. Yeah. Teddy, it's my world, bro. You're just in it. Anyway, tell us who else is in it today, bro.
Today, in Prez's world, we're going to open up with Steve Merril. He's going to talk a couple of college hoops for tonight, including Memphis and Alabama, the marquee matchup for the evening. Brandon Siefkin's going to join us as well. He, too, is going to talk some college hoops action. Baylor against Air Force Iona, the red-hot Gales against the Princeton Tigers. Carmine Bianco is going to close out the show. World Cup semifinal, you betcha. He's going to break it down, Argentina and Croatia, as well as Vegas versus Winnipeg in the NHL for tonight. My big game breakdown. It's a Cure Bowl on Friday, Troy and Texas San Antonio. I've got a side play up on my homepage. I'm going to talk about the total right here on the show. So it is a loaded Tuesday edition. Multiple sports across the board, Prez. Let's get into it.
Okay, my brother, Steve Merril joining us. And it is $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk.com. Well, Steve, I'll just read your sales pitch. You've been crushing the books all year. How many books have you read?
You have to ask WagerTalk. I think they put that in there.
Oh, so it's not book. You haven't crushed like reading. I'm reading the new Mitch Rapp book, dude. It's actually a good one. Number 22 in the series. I've read them all. Anyway, Steve Merril, $2 Tuesday handicapper, 5% college football play. We'll talk about it a bit later, but you can get that play at WagerTalk for only $2. Brother, college basketball. You want to talk Memphis against Alabama? What do we do in this game?
Yeah, Teddy and I were joking off air before the show. It was hard to come up with many marquee games to talk about today on Tuesday. And by the way, the $2 Tuesday play is a bowl game for that exact reason. I never forced games. Didn't think anything was worthy of a powerful play here on Tuesday, but I did have a bowl game I like a lot for this Saturday. And that's why it is the $2 Tuesday best bet. It's a strong 5%er. So we're going to look at a couple college plays for free here on the show, which is nice for all the viewers here on Tuesday. And this is definitely the marquee matchup. In fact, I'll be back at 2 o'clock Eastern today on the College Basketball Happy Hour show with Joe Ranieri and company, Dave Koch and Ralph Michaels, and we will be talking about this game in depth. So I wanted to get a jump start on it because Ralph and Dave always steal all the good talking points because they're excellent when it comes to college hoops. Last Saturday, we actually previewed the game on Friday on the show for the Saturday matchup between Houston and Alabama, and I actually did come with a strong best bet on Houston in the game, and Ralph Michaels had mentioned he liked Houston also. That was a pace play for us as Houston, one of the slowest half-court teams in the country. Alabama likes to play fast. They like to shoot threes, and it looked like a good matchup for Houston at home, and it was looking pretty good in the second half when Houston was up by 14 points. And then not only did they blow the cover, blow the lead, they lost the game outright. Now Alabama is playing Memphis, who plays much faster than Houston. Memphis is actually at 105 pace. Memphis are the 20th best, most efficient defense in the country. Alabama, the 12th. So instead of the side here, I think the total is worth a look. This line opened 157.5. It's up to 152. So obviously the early sharp money thinks there'll be some pace, and I don't disagree. And I think this will be a fast game. And if you look at the two defenses, yes, statistically they've been very strong, but neither one of them. Memphis does not rely on the three. They score in transition. I think they're going to have a little bit of trouble doing that against Alabama here. Neither team really turns the ball over much. So I think it's a good spot to play that over. We lost a little bit of line value. It was 147. Now it's 152. But should be a fast game. And the fact that Bama put up 71 against a really good Houston defense shows how good that offense is this year.
Yeah, and again, whenever you're looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen with the openers, remember, it's a broader marketplace than just one book. I tracked 5 books at the openers for this. It was a 147.5, a 146.5, a 148.5, a 149, and a 151.5. So there was some variance in terms of where this line opened. Obviously sitting at 152 right now. And yet, I appreciate what you're saying about both teams wanting to play fast, but Alabama's been cashing under tickets of late. Back-to-back unders, including one by margin. Does that concern you at all in this one?
Well, once again, I mean, obviously the Houston game, you had a Houston team that's one of the slowest half-court teams in the country, so you've got a fast versus a slow. The game before that was against South Dakota State, who's about 125 in pace. So that under came in about 143 in the total. It was 155.5. But they did, Teddy, don't forget, go over 4 straight before that. So they're still, on a 4-2 overrun their last 6, even though they've had back-to-back unders.
Steve Merril joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. Steve, I'm in play on this game. I'm Cal Poly slow against Washington, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Plus 12.5 for Cal Poly. Where are you going, man?
Well, it's an interesting game to talk about because the last time Washington played, I actually spoke about them as well on the college basketball show because that was a week ago. The previous Friday, they played Gonzaga on December 9th, and I actually used Gonzaga as the free play on that show, minus the 16. They won by 17, but I thought it was a step-up game for the Zags, who had really underachieved. Gonzaga had gone 1-7 ATS their previous 8 games. Felt like it was a huge step up in class for Washington. In fact, Washington had been a favorite or a pick 'em basically in every game but one over or 2 over the last 8 or 9 games. Now they come back to the double-digit favorite role, in which they've done fairly well this year as a double-digit favorite. They've gone 3-0 straight up, but they're just 1-2 ATS going back to early November as a double-digit favorite. And in fact, 2 of those 3 wins have come by 11 points or less. And they only have Idaho State on deck. I don't think there's any look ahead here, but they have been off for a week. They just played a very fast-paced Gonzaga team a week ago and lost the game, of course. So I think everyone feels like it's a natural bounce-back spot for Washington, but not so fast because, first of all, Cal Poly slow is quietly playing really good basketball. 4 straight wins in covers, and they've been either a dog or a basket favorite or less in 3 of those last 3 games. They're an 8-point favorite in the first one, but they've been a dog, minus 1.5 in the last 3 outright wins. And then on top of that, I like the matchup here. I always like to look for slow versus teams that want to play more up-tempo. And once again, going back to the Gonzaga game, one of the reasons I like them over Washington is because both teams wanted to play fast. Whenever that's the case, the more talented team can extend the lead like Gonzaga. But Cal Poly slow plays at the 306th slowest tempo out of 363 teams this year. So I think it's a bad matchup for Washington. That also enables the underdog to keep it close and stay within the 12.5 points. And they're definitely a good defensive dog, giving up just 40% shooting from the field this year. I think Cal Poly slow gets their 5th straight cover.
So we've seen the Mustangs go on the road and step up in class twice, and both came early in the season. But they went to San Francisco and scored 48, and they went to Stanford and scored 43. And in neither game did they score more than 17 buckets, 17 made shots in the 40 minutes. They certainly play slow, and Washington's a team that has, when they're playing well, they'll bring it on the defensive end. This is a game you might look at the under as well. Or do you think the side is the better choice?
Definitely don't disagree with the under, Teddy. I mean, for Cal Poly slow to cover in this game, I don't think they want to shoot out. You're exactly right. So I do think this, you and I talked about this last week about side total parlays, someone being correlated in same game parlays, and this is probably an example of that. What's interesting, though, Teddy, the opening total was 127. It's up to 128.5. The side open minus 12.5. It is down to 12 in some spots now. So we've seen a little bit of money on the over, yet a teeny bit of at least line movement on the dog, which doesn't quite correlate.
Steve Merril. Steve, let's get into your promotion, man. So, guys, if you've never watched this show before, we have 2 offers every Tuesday, one at Wager Talk, one at Sports Memo. We offer one of the hottest handicappers that we have at the time for $2. One of their big plays for only $2. Steve has a 5% bowl game play up. It's only $2. Steve, tell us about that.
Yeah, I really like this play. In fact, I'm number one this year in college football sides at WagerTalk.com, and this is the strongest play I've seen this season. My first 5%er for the bowl season goes this weekend, and you can get it right now on Tuesday for just $2. Normally, this would be a $35 best bet on its own. Get it right now on Tuesday for just $2. It's a no-brainer, number one in college football, and it's my strongest play yet, a big 5% bowl best bet. It goes this week, and it's one of the earlier games, so you don't have to wait long. You're going to get it for this week, but if you get it today on Tuesday, you save big. Get it for just $2 right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome, Steve. Thanks for joining us, man. Teddy, we also have a promotion going on at Sports Memo. 3 handicappers for $5. You, my friend, are one of those 3. You've got a 5% play going up tonight in NBA?
I do, yeah. The NBA continues to be really good, you know. It's been good for extended stretch now, 99-54, I believe, with the last, dating back to last February. So it's been extended run, and I'm hitting 75% here in December, 2-0 last night. And as you mentioned, a 5% big ticket. You can get that with 2 other selections for a grand total of $5. The idea is try it, sign up, give us a shot.
Yep.
Today's the day to do it over at sportsmemo.com.
Yeah, $5, guys. You get Teddy covers, 5% NBA pick. Ross Benjamin, he's got a bowl game pick, and Kevin Thomas has a 5% NHL play. Okay, promotions are done, Teddy. What did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
We get to make fun of Troy Aikman today. All right. I'm all for independent broadcasters. I don't mind at all when broadcasters tell it like it is. But when Troy Aikman comes on TV, and he's like in a bad mood from the open. A get off my lawn guy. When I was a kid, we hung onions from our belts. This was the style at the time. You know, just his quotes. Let's be honest, there's just been a lot of bad football this year. You know, personally, I don't know any defensive coordinator that would be a good offensive coordinator. And after watching Matt Patricia, I still don't. I think this is still professional football, but this is amazing. Yeah. The Cardinals just lost a franchise quarterback to a torn ACL. They were missing 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. Zach Ertz out for the season with a knee injury. And, it's bad football. Yeah, that's what happens, Troy. You spent the first half ripping the Pats, and the Pats got good in the second half. So you spent the second half ripping the Cardinals. You spent the whole game ripping the NFL. It's like, settle down, Beavis. Sorry, this game wasn't a great one. They won't all be, but some are. Troy Aikman last night doing his best get off my lawn guy impersonation. I was not amused. He wasn't very good. And sometimes when that happens, you turn on Peyton and Eli. So what about you, Prez? Is there anything last night?
I enjoy watching Peyton and Eli, Teddy. Who's your favorite out of all the guys? Romo, Collingsworth, Joe Bob. Who do you love? Who do you like the best?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I'd have to think about it.
I
sometimes
love
everybody rubs me the wrong way.
Well, dude,
Collingsworth.
Hold on.
30 years ago.
Hold on. We'll get back to Collingsworth. Dan, get that quote. Make an image. Sometimes everybody rubs me the wrong way. Teddy covers. That is the most obvious, redundant statement on the planet, dude. I mean, your wife rubs you the wrong way when she's rubbing you. That's how rubbed the wrong way you get. I love Chris Collingsworth. There's something presidential about the guy. There's just something stately. He just looks good in a suit. I don't know, man. I'm a fan of Collingsworth.
I mean, I like Gus Johnson. I like Kevin Harlan as the play-by-play guys. I think they've picked up from where Marv Albert used to be my favorite play-by-play guy back in the day.
Yeah.
But as a color commentator, I mean, it feels like there's wide variance. And no one jumps to mind as, that's my favorite color commentator guy. I don't have that guy right now.
I think Romo brought the best out of everybody, though. I give Romo a lot of credit because, in that first 2 years, he was pointing out the plays as they were about to happen. And I think we've started to see Chris Collinsworth and others head towards that direction. So I give Tony Romo a lot of credit. Plus, if I could be any of those guys, I'd want to be Tony Romo. Teddy, Tokyo Brandon joining us. He's a guy I don't want to be. I have to be stuck listening to Kiss all day. Peace, man. What up, Tokyo?
What's up, guys? How's it going? I was raised on John Madden, Keith Jackson, so that was the golden era of
Yeah, so I'm not era. With you there. So I enjoyed Keith Jackson.
You are. We're about the same age.
I could not stand John Madden. John Madden to me was the worst color guy in history. He was so patronizing. I used to do imitations of John Madden. It would go something like, "So, Pat, you know, it's important to get first downs. The running back runs the ball. The quarterback, Pat, he's the guy that throws the ball. Oh, yeah. A wide receiver, he catches it." Oh, I couldn't stand that guy.
You know how Tony Romo is the X's and O's guy now, though. John Madden used to be that because he would kind of diagram plays, and we'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah. No, I understand.
But now, I like Tony Romo. He's easy to listen to, but
John Madden just spoke down to everybody. Like, it literally was like, "Pat, there are 4 downs in a possession. Pat, the kicker kicks." Okay.
I was raised a Raider fan nonsense? When he was the coach. So.
I think you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Everybody
rubs you the wrong way, baby.
When he was still the coach.
Sometimes.
So I loved John Madden when he was a coach.
Brandon, let's talk a little college hoops for tonight. Let's get into it. Iona and Princeton. The Gales and the Tigers. Yeah. The Gales have been red hot of late. And they're taking money in early betting action today. There were 5.5, 6s last night. I'm seeing mostly 7s on the WagerTalk live odds screen right now. This isn't a Princeton total, sitting at 146, 146.5. What do you think?
Not
the Gales and the Tigers.
I'm not on the total, however, but Iona, they're better coached. They played a better record. They played a better schedule. If you look at Princeton's schedule, they're 8-2, but they got 8-2 by playing teams like Marist and Monmouth and Drexler. And Iona is just a better team. They're better coached. So I have Iona -6 when I put it out. Even if it's -7, I would even take that now because I have them at -13 in my numbers. So I like Iona. Despite Princeton's 8-2 record, I still like the Gales here.
So Iona's kind of been kicking ass and taking names at home of late. They did go to St. Bonnie's, or they had the neutral game against St. Bonnie's over the weekend where they smacked them as well. But they had, St. Louis is a team that wants to slow it down. Canisius is a team that wants to slow it down. And we saw the Gales score 90 and 84 in those 2 ball games. But do you worry about a team that's been kind of kicking ass and taking names at home, and then they leave the friendly confines of the home court and find a team that wants to play at a different pace than them? Does that concern you here when it comes to laying this price, or is that just a non-factor for this one?
To me, it's a non-factor. I mean, their losses were kind of bad losses. They lost to some pretty cruddy teams. However, if you take a look at Princeton's losses, they lost to Hofstra and Navy. Princeton's not exactly a great team, either at home or on the road. So it doesn't bother me at all. I like Iona here. I just think the coaching, Rick Pitino's got this team firing on all cylinders. Although they do have a recent loss, doesn't bother me. I like the Gales here all the way. I think they should cover this by double digits at least.
Tokyo Brandon joining us, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 handicapper this calendar season. Number 1 handicapper last calendar season. Incredible, consistent, outstanding stuff. You guys can buy his, yes, sir, Teddy.
What's a calendar season? A year? Is that the word you're looking for?
Calendar year.
2022.
Oh,
there
my
you go.
God. Oh
I-
my God. Okay.
Just
Anyway.
that's why it wasn't urgent. I will raise my hand.
Okay.
It's a question.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like a marriage
Anyway,
counselor when I come on this show.
Brandon, you got plays up every day for $9. You're the only handicapper that does that. You're the only handicapper allowed to do that. Those are your Korean baseball. What are those?
Yeah. When I put Asian plays out, I put them out for $2. I do Chinese basketball. I do Japanese basketball. Even American sports, though, it's a little known fact here at WagerTalk. When you put 1 or 2% plays out, you can sell those for $9 as well. So yeah, but yeah, I do Chinese basketball. I do Korean basketball and Japanese basketball as well.
Nice. Rick writes,
Yes.
Now Prez is copying Teddy's salmon color. Oh, yes, Rick. Yes. I
I've seen
wake
you
up
wear
in
that
the
shirt
morning and
before.
I think to myself, man, Teddy is so damn stylish. I got to figure out what to wear just to match his style. Yes. Brandon, I don't know if you know this, but I took
Yes.
Teddy shopping 3 years ago and I bought him everything he
did know that.
wears.
I
You
did
didn't
know
buy
that.
me
You guys
everything.
talked about
I
it for
bought
like
it.
3 shows afterwards.
Yeah, you're right, Teddy. You bought it. But the craziest part about it was we go into the
Let's fix it
store,
out.
Joe's. We go to get, and I'm like, Teddy, Joe's jeans, they're incredible, man. They're elasticy. You're gonna love them. So he goes in, he buys the jeans, but they came with a second one half price. I got that one.
Okay.
That one I was like, no, Teddy, I'm getting that one.
On the house.
Tokyo, Baylor against Air Force. Baylor minus 6.5. Another college basketball play going tonight. How do we bet this?
This is actually football. This is the bowl game.
Oh, this is your notes are wonderful. Wonderful notes, Tokyo. Wonderful.
My apologies. I will correct that next time. I do think I wrote CFB, but I will put it a little more obvious next time. But this is the bowl game where Baylor takes on Air Force, and this to me, I have a football bowl package out, and I packaged them all together. But this is my favorite one of the package because Baylor's come. When I look at bowl games, I like to look at two factors. One is who they played, which mainly depends on what conference they came from. And the other is, are there any like holdouts, anyone skipping the bowl game? Because bowl games can be kind of hard to predict. But if you look at who these two teams have played, I mean, Baylor almost upset TCU, which is a playoff team. They played 4 ranked teams. They beat Oklahoma, which is not really saying much this season, but Oklahoma is still Oklahoma. They got good recruits. They got good athletes. Whereas if you look at Air Force, I mean, they have not played a ranked team. They've lost to Wyoming, they've lost to Utah State, and they lost to Boise State. And I would say their best win is against San Diego State, who they beat 13-3. I mean, Air Force is not a good team, even though they have a decent record. Baylor's just, I think Baylor's going to crush them here. And I looked at the line, I thought it was going to be like 13.5, 14.5, and it was 6.5. Caesars still has this at 6, so you can grab a 6 right now. I think this is not even going to be a close game. It should be a double-digit win for Baylor. Better conference, better wins, better team.
So if you've been betting against service academies in bowl games, you probably haven't done that well in recent years. And that's why this line is as low as it is. Air Force excited to be there. Baylor disappointed to be there. Air Force with a pretty good track record in bowl contests. I've got them with a bowl loss in the last decade. Every other's been a win and cover for the Falcons. So do any of those factors concern you? Does the Baylor's late season struggles, the fact they're not playing a thrilling bowl game for them, the fact that Air Force has covered all these numbers? Because to me, this is the type of bowl that I take my powering numbers and I throw them straight in the garbage and try to handicap the psyche of the two squads.
Yeah. Good point, though, Teddy, because the one factor that does concern me is the one you mentioned, the fact that Air Force is excited to be here and Baylor's not excited to be here. That does concern me a little bit. That would concern me if this was a 13-point or even 10.5 might concern me, but all they have to do is win by a touchdown. the late season struggles would concern me, but if you look at who Baylor has lost to, they've lost to Texas, TCU, and Kansas State, which are three really good teams. And if you look at it, do you think Air Force could beat any of those three teams? I really doubt it. And do you think Air Force could beat Texas Tech or Oklahoma? I really doubt it, but Baylor has. So yes, the motivation factor is one that I do look at in bowl games, but if this were a double-digit spread, it would concern me, but less than a touchdown does not concern me. But good point. Good point. I do like Baylor here.
Tokyo Brandon, everyone. Guys, bottom line, if you love money, and most of us do, Tokyo Brandon, I have no promotion for him, but I would head over to the website and buy something from that guy. Number one most profitable expert this year and last year, a huge Kiss fan, and a good friend of the show's. Now get out of here. Bye. Bye, Tokyo. Teddy covers. Before we take a quick break in your big game breakdown, man, me and you have been doing this for 30 years. 10 years ago, 15, this concept of a team is disappointed to be in a bowl game was a huge angle when betting these games. I have noticed, and I want to see if I'm right or wrong here, I have noticed that has actually changed in the last few years. And that holding your hat on these concepts of they're disappointed to be in this bowl game, they should have been in that bowl game, therefore they won't give as much of an effort. I don't think that's as big an angle as it used to be.
I'm curious as to what makes you say what you just said, because it's certainly an angle that. Give me an example. Give me one example.
I can't.
From the last.
I can't offhand.
Exactly.
I can't. But I'll tell you. You asked me a question. Doing this show, speaking to people over the last many years, I hear that a lot. Oh, Oklahoma should have been in this spot, but now they're in that, or this team, or that team. And then they go out and slaughter the team. Now, I can't remember any offhand. And it's a tough question to ask Ralph, because how do you even decide if they're upset because they're not in the bowl game that they're supposed to have been in? But it's just something that I know was spoken about all the time previously. And I don't know. I just feel like that angle is coming to an end. But I don't have any. I don't. Okay. Thank you. I
couldn't disagree more. I have no idea what you're referring to, that in recent years it's been dramatically different from where it was 10 or 15 years ago. And if there's one factor that's more important than any other factor in bowl games, right? It's not necessarily, this team's playing in this bowl and they didn't get that bowl. But when a team's expecting to play in a big bowl and they play in a little bowl, when a team's expecting to go to a nice warm weather location and they don't, they end up playing near hall, they don't get that nice warm weather location. Those are legitimate factors that not this year, not last year, but since I moved to Vegas 25 years ago. Those factors work in the postseason. And the way to measure how excited a team is not just quotes. In the modern era, there's a new way to measure it. It's called the transfer portal. And when you see teams having a bunch of guys transferring out before their bowl game, that's telling you how excited or not excited they are to be there.
Just for the record, Teddy, you can disagree with me stronger. I've seen it. It actually happened earlier in the show. So just for the record. Anyway, rip Mike Leach. Teddy put together a whole thing on him for his show. And tell us about that, dude. You wrote this whole thing. You got a show coming up. What's your... Why are you all squinting? What did I do?
Mike Leach. What are you talking about? Mike Leach passed away this morning. We're not going to rip Mike Leach night right now.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Oh, my God.
That's different.
Oh, my God.
R.I.P. is not rip.
Oh, my God. Dan, go to Victor. Oh, my God.
Let's rip the dead coach.
Oh, my God.
When we come back after this brief commercial message, my big game breakdown, Carmine Bianco, Prez's presidential address, if we get 100 likes. Stay tuned.
Oh, we're not getting 100 likes.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some Cure Bowl Friday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. East Coast action. I've written up the side for this game over on my webpage. You can check it out at WagerTalk. You can check it out at Sports Memo. You can go check it out right now while you're checking out my $2 Tuesday NBA winner for tonight on the side for this ballgame. But I'm going to talk about the total and what value means. This is one that Brad Powers talked about on my Cover It podcast last week. That's the podcast version of my SiriusXM weekend shows. He talked about it last week, and boy, it made a ton of sense to me. Started digging. I'm like, yeah, this is one we want to talk about. Little edges matter. Here's one. All right. UTSA, Texas San Antonio, faced a backup quarterback 4 games in a row down the stretch. Depressed scoring against them. Everything else being even, remember, these totals are set and bet based on full season statistical profiles where these final scores and yardage numbers are surely weighted, both for books and for bettors. Are they weighted and adjusted for the fact that one team played a bevy of late season games? Again, well, late season games are going to be weighted heavier in the model versus backup quarterbacks? That's not in the stats. That's not in the model. That requires somebody paying attention, going through box scores, noting the quarterbacks they were playing, knowing who was starting the quarterback normally for their opponents, noting the Roadrunners' injury luck, and weighting their defensive stats different. I'm not convinced that the broader betting markets are doing that for this ball. So what do we do with this info? UTSA facing backup quarterbacks? You know what to do already. You figured it out. Their defensive numbers, probably a little bit better than they should be. The total, probably a notch or two lower than it should be. What are we going to do? We're going to play the game over. O-V-E-R, over the total. 55.5. We are seeing some ticking up right now. Take advantage of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes higher. Look for Troy and Texas San Antonio to go over the total. There's your big game break. Back to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you, Teddy. 16 more likes, guys. Let's go. Carmine Bianco stepping in on super late notice. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a long day, stoppage time this morning, puck time this morning, and now I get to finish it off with you two fine gentlemen. You literally substituted one bald man in Sherapan for another. I even brought the guys missing Sherapan. I was going to wear the hat, the rim.
Do you use shampoo?
Yeah, I still use shampoo.
Why? Why don't you just use body soap?
Do you have a list of jokes you just regurgitate over the year? You need to find some new ones.
I forgot what the answer was. And no, I don't have a list of jokes. I just bring Teddy on. Okay, Carm. We've got a World Cup game starting in 1.5 hours, 2 p.m. Eastern. Lionel Messi, his last chance for glory, playing Croatia. Minus 116 for Argentina, 229 on the tie, and plus 385 for this Croatian team. Still curious why you don't use body wash, but that's, I guess, a different question. How do we bet this World Cup game?
Yeah, at the beginning or prior to the tournament, Kelly and I did the World Cup preview video. And, when we looked at that, she wanted me to give out three choices, a couple dark horses, and Argentina was one of the choices at plus 650 at the time, and Croatia was one of my dark horses, much like they were in 2018 at 50-1 in this tournament. And here we are. We're into the semifinal rounds. Game today, game tomorrow. France takes on Morocco, and we're literally in a position where we can see the exact same finalists as we did in 2018 Russia World Cup, in which France won 4-2. this game is so intriguing because a lot of people are like, well, Argentina's going to win. It's a great story, Lionel Messi. But I'm not entirely convinced they will, or at least within 90 minutes. Last time out, Croatia did an unbelievable job against a Brazil team that is probably the most skilled team in this tournament, and they hid the ball from Brazil. They just did not give them an opportunity to get anything going, and this is what Croatia does. They just stifle teams out there the way they play. No huge names, unless you're a fan of the Croatian team, and you know guys like Modric, on the team. And this is where we are. Look at the line, and the line tells you, even the goal total tells you, the goal total is at 2 in this game, the over-under, and it tells you they don't expect much in it. I expect the same thing today. I don't see a lot of goals, and this is why I'm leaning to not only a draw within 90 minutes, but a first half draw. I think would be a good one, because I think it's going to be a cagey affair, a low scoring affair. The top 2 betting props are 0-0 after 90 minutes at plus 600, and Argentina to win 1-0 at plus 500. Those totals are never that low, or the prices on those totals are never that low. This is one I think could very well get to extra time, and it's been Croatia's recipe. Their last couple games, they got into extra time, went to penalty kicks, and they win. It's the same thing they did in the 2018 World Cup. Drag the game past 90 minutes, get into extra time, and they just wear teams down. Can they do it against Argentina today? Absolutely, they could do it. From a footballer's point of view, and putting all bets aside, would I love to see Argentina in the final? Absolutely. I'd love to see them play against France and the defending champions in there. But I'm going to look at the first half draw here, and then I'm going to look at the full game draw. So plus minus 110 on the halftime line for the draw, and plus 230 on the full-time draw. And for those out there who are new to betting soccer, if the game goes to extra time, your bet is a winner if you took the draw. If you take Croatia plus a half a goal, it's also a winner. All bets are graded on the 90 minutes plus injury time result. Everything that happens after that is inconsequential to your actual bet, unless your bet is actually on a team to advance, where you get the full game, the extra time, and the penalty kicks.
So that was a great breakdown, Carm. But in terms of where we're going in terms of wagers here, because it sounded like you like the draw, you like the first half draw, you like the under, you like Croatia plus a half a goal.
Yeah.
Are all of those in play for you? I mean, are all those live wagers for you in theory?
Yeah, the first half draw is a live wager for me. I took it at minus 110. I sprinkled a little bit on the plus 230 full-time draw. And then I'm going to throw one prop bet out there just because, Teddy, because I talked about the under. The over-under is at 2. There's an option where you can take, it's called the BTTS and total. So you could, both teams to score. You take no, and the under is 2.5 now. And you get it at minus 110. So you can take both teams to score, no, and under 2.5. And if the game is 1-0 or 2-0, and it ends that way, you win the bet. If there's no score and it goes to extra time, you also win that bet. So there's 3 ways to get to the window with a winning bet, taking both teams to score no and under 2.5.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Okay, Carm. Winnipeg hosting Vegas tonight. Look, I'm high on the Jets, man. I said it at the beginning of the season. They had a real off year last year. Now they're playing really, really good hockey, but so is Vegas. This is a super interesting game. Short line, total of 6. How do we bet this?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who came along on my 5% winning play last night in NHL.
Woohoo!
Yes, I know, with the Ottawa Senators in regulation time, minus 130. But Prez, looking at this game, listen, Vegas is playing well, but they haven't played well their last 2 or 3 games, and it's because of the injuries. Jack Eichel is out. Andrew reported this morning that he's going on I think he's on the long-term injury list now. You have Pietrangelo, who missed all 3 games, personal reasons. He's expected to be out again tonight. And then you have Theodore also dealing with an injury and out. How has Vegas done in those 3 games with these guys out of the lineup? Well, they lost 5-1 to the Rangers, 3-1 to the Bruins, and they eked out an overtime win over the Philadelphia Flyers, 2-1, all 3 games in Vegas. Now they go to Winnipeg, who are a very good team at home, 10-4 at home. But they lost their last game to Washington, and it was one bad period that cost them the game. 4 goals allowed in the second period. You got to draw a line through that because this team has been so good at home. And then who else has been good at home? Hellebuck. He's the starting goalie tonight. He's 9-3 at home, and other than that game, that last time out, he's only allowed more than 2 goals in one game, and that was a 4-1 loss back in October to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's allowed 2 or fewer goals, including 3 shutouts at home. He's phenomenal, and they play well in front of him. They play well. You're getting the Jets at -135, and until Vegas gets healthy, I'm going to look to continue to fade them. But I think that it's easier to fade them against a Winnipeg team that is smarting from that loss and playing extremely well at home.
Carmine Bianco, breaking down the NHL, breaking down the World Cup. What do you have to promote, my friend? You've been running pretty good. Talk about some of your streaks and what you have going over at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, the World Cup has been good. There's 3 plays up, a side play, and a couple of prop bets on today's game. Having a great World Cup, up 25 units thus far. And as far as NHL, since November 1st, number 1 in NHL, 52% bankroll gain in NHL, and 3 plays up for tonight as well, too. So grabbing the one-day all access is not a bad deal. Or you can use code NHL150 to get $150 off the rest of the NHL season.
Code NHL150 for Carmine Bianco's full season of NHL action, the All Access Pass, worthy of a look as well. Carmine, thank you so much for your breakdown. Thank you so much for filling in for Mr. Sheriff and today. Now, let's send it up to Toronto for the Presidential Address.
All right. I got 3 bets for you guys in hockey. Before we get into that, I got to point out, take Sunday away, and I am absolutely killing it right now. I've won 6 of my last 7 days of betting. Listen to this, guys. My NBA, second most profitable handicapper at WagerTalk. Yes, number 2. I'm on a 4-0 and 8-2 NBA run. College hoops, up. Profit on the season, I'm on an 8-2 and 15-5 college hoops run. I'm on a 7-1 and 18-5 basketball run. My basketball has been unfreaking believable. I got 3 basketball plays and 2 hockey plays up at WagerTalk. Go check them out. As for your 3 bets today, I like the Boston Bruins under the total of 6. I like San Jose in regulation, and I like the Colorado Avalanche in regulation as well. That's the Bruins under, San Jose in regulation, and the Avs in regulation. Teddy, I'm already excited about tomorrow. Take us home, bro.
You're excited about what's tomorrow you're excited about?
More you, baby. More you. Come on. It's like I have a fever, and the only thing that could fix it, Teddy. Now get me out of here. I got a pastrami sandwich to eat.
I'm trying, but you're recycling the same lines over and over again. That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of Wager Talk Today. Take advantage of the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk.com or the 3 for $5 special over at SportsMemo.com. Prez and I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.